about to do Havdallah, and they say, Havdallah is a really, really special time. Really, really special time in someone's life and the week. So, separating between the Kodesh and the Chol, the holiness and the mundane. And, you have to, separating is actually a very important thing in Judaism. Distinguishing really more than separating. Because today we had two simchas. And this is the second one. And there's a concept in Judaism that ein me'arvim simcha v'simcha. You don't mix one simcha and the other. I mean, from the Bima, we congratulate a lot of people, like Clement, like Philip and Barbara, and like Harvey and Sonia. That's fine. But as far as actually coming together, celebrating a simcha, unless absolutely necessary, we try to have every simcha on its own, hold it on their own. And even though Rachel, on some levels, is a direct result of what we're about to celebrate now, kind of in reverse order, but we're going to celebrate the reunion of the already fantastic union between Avi and Chana. And it's a very special thing. Because man and woman were created different. And those of you who are men, those of you who are women, know exactly what I'm talking about. Very, very different. No, don't do that. You gotta get up. Get up. And the beautiful thing about a marriage is that it doesn't blur the lines between a man and a woman. It never blurs the lines. Because a man will always be a dominant, a woman will always be female. But what it does is bring together a union. And Adam and Chava were originally created conjoined, either at the hip, or back to back, or face to face. There's a different, that would be quite awkward, by the way. No, you want to keep going. And what Hashem did is He separated them. And then it talks about in Bereshit, you want to leave your mother and your father and cling to your wife, cling to your spouse, and come together, the union that is meant to be. And that's what we're going to celebrate today. Havdallah is taking the Kodesh and the Chol, is taking the holiness and the mundane, and making a distinguishment. We're distinguishing between Shabbat, where we don't do melacha, where we don't do creative work, where we don't light fire, where we don't play guitar, where we don't use electricity or phones or anything like that, and the Chol and the weekdays, where we do all that, and we embrace creative work, and we embrace lighting fire. Essentially, lighting fire was the first thing that Adam HaRishon did. Adam HaRishon did Motzei Shabbat. He was created on Friday, and on Shabbat, he went into Shabbat after eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The consequence of that, having a whole Shabbat like that, and Motzei Shabbat, him and his wife, Adam HaRishon says, it started. There was no electricity. There was no Wi-Fi.
Oh my.
There's no light. There's the moon and the stars. And a lot of stars, not like the 5 we see now. But like the whole sky is filled with it. And he's like, I need light. I need warmth. It's cold. It's dark. What do I do? And he created fire. So every month of Shabbat, we created fire. And this Havdallah candle is really special because it is never made from one wick. There's a difference between Shabbat candles or a Yortzeit candle and a Havdallah candle. Is that a Havdallah candle, if you notice, it's crisscrossed here, right? And that's delivered. That's because a Havdallah candle has to be at very least 2 wicks. that burn together. And that's why there's all these really neat shaped Havdallah candles and the different shades, different colors and all that. And this is a classic Havdallah shape, but it could be two candles that you join. And that's exactly what marriage is. It separates the couple from everybody else. And is that Avi is taking Chana and Chana is taking Avi and saying, you are going to be mine and I will be distinguished from the rest of the world. I will choose you and choose nobody else in the entire world, and only choose you. And the most powerful moment that we're going to experience very shortly is you're going to choose each other again for the second time, which is unbelievable, which is really unbelievable. Circumstances, of course, as they are, but it is unbelievable. We'll relate to the actual Kettubah ceremony when we get there. So we're going to do Havdallah right now, musical Havdallah. Please be and Yeshua. dee da 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 da. So this is really cool because I haven't done a chuppah yet. I've done a lot of other things so far. I haven't done a chuppah, even though this is and as I said, like usually do the chuppah before the bat mitzvah, but there are always exceptions. And what we're doing today is not a typical chuppah. I don't know if you saw the original yet. Yes. It's so pretty. Yeah, I know. You'll all get a look at it, and I'm sure you'll all get a look at it afterwards. It is really nice. This is handwritten on parchment. And the gold here is, by the way, real gold made by the Sofer, Azriel. Thank you. What's that for?
So a sign is here for the whole of it?
Yeah.
See? Both women said that.
Okay. Thank you. So this is a Kettubah. And one of the important things about in a marriage is actually having a Kettubah, a marriage document, which I'm going to read in Aramaic. And it's written in Aramaic, by the way, so everyone can understand. That's why it's written in Aramaic. And I'm also going to explain it in English for those who may not speak fluent Aramaic. But the Kettubah is really, really important, as we'll discuss in a moment. But this night really is about both of you. And unfortunately, you had a Kettubah, and you got married 30 years ago, almost to the day. Almost to the day, because they have both dates here, which we're going to read out soon. And in the month of Elul as well. Today we're in the third day of Elul, because it's month of Shabbat, and you got married, I believe, on the 21st day of Elul, if I remember correctly. So it's really, 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 really close, exactly 30 years ago. And you have been building your life in New Zealand. And unfortunately, in the wake of the earthquakes in Christchurch, you've had to rebuild your lives. You've had to rebuild your lives. And rebuilding one's life is extremely, extremely difficult. And I don't have to go through the challenges. I only know a fraction of some of the things that you've told me. I can't even begin to understand all the things that you've been going through. And today marks a beautiful, beautiful day in the renewal and really kind of making it concrete, making it established that you are in the second phase, and the phase of the recovery, the phase of building. We celebrated a beautiful bat mitzvah today. It was a fantastic community event, a really, really great one. And with level 2 and all the obstacles and everything, we navigated it, and it was a real simcha. It was 100% simcha, and that was the most important thing. And there's a very famous saying, Sheva yipol tzadik v'kama. A righteous person will fall down 7 times and get up. And the Maharal of Levi from Prague explained that 7 times doesn't actually mean 7. 7 simply means many. Many, 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 many times a righteous person will fall, and it's not about how much they fall, it's how they get up. And you have gotten up incredibly well throughout everything. Despite everything, you're standing here under an actual chuppah, held up by people who really love you guys, and the community that embraces you, and a very, very nice, authentic shul, by the way, here in Wellington, and the community that's since 1843 and whatnot, and with the beautiful Kettubah that's worth, like $8,000. You got to add a discount. And something like that. It's really handwritten by a Sofer in New Zealand, celebrating a bat mitzvah, and I just think that's really, really special. And so this day should not only mark a halachic requirement of having a Kettubah, which for obvious reasons you couldn't have done, because you didn't have a rabbi in Christchurch. It was literally lost in the earthquake. You don't know where it is, and for all the reasons that we all know of, and it's taken a couple of years, but that's okay. And you got to this moment. The moment you mentioned it to me, I'm like, well, we have to do something about it, and why not make it as part of your Simcha weekend, which was also supposed to be Limud. Imagine if it was Limud, right? Limud and a Mitzvah, and if it was there, it would be unbelievable. And this should be a renewal for both of you. Just explain the procedure, how this is going to work. So they're married. They've always been married. And this is much more, this is a marriage contract. See, in Judaism, you have a marriage contract. It's not like you're married, oh, that's so sweet. No, you're married, and this is exactly Avi's obligations to you, written in the finest Aramaic, so that you understand all of your obligations to your lovely wife, Hannah. We have 30 years. I'm sure you've been doing it pretty well, but it's always good to have a fresh reminder. So here it is. And we will actually sign it by two witnesses, which today will be Daniel and Gary. Thank you very much for doing that. And I'm going to read it out and explain what it says in this document. Then you're going to purchase it by lifting this pen. You're going to give this Kettubah to your wife, Hannah. After we sign it, and then you are going to receive it. You have to choose to receive it.
I get a choice.
You get a choice. I know you have 30 years to think about this moment. You have a few more minutes while I explain it in Aramaic. So,
No pressure.
no pressure. That's right. I will read it. Elet Yerushalayim al rosh simchati. I will have Yerushalayim on the top of my mind. Yerushalayim is written in beautiful, beautiful gold letters. All this fancy doodah stuff. It's fantastic. Shtar Kettubah, the marriage document, the marriage contract. Madhava Kadmana Barishon B'Shabbat Shlishi LaChodesh Elul Shnat 5780 לבריאת העולם במניין שאנו מונים כאן המרכז היהודי של Wellington. But basically, what is in front of us, which is Sunday, because it's Motzei Shabbat, which is Sunday, because the day starts from the night, the third of the month of Elul, which is the year 5780 to the years that we count from the creation of the world, really creation of man. I won't get into that right now. We are counting here in the Jewish Community Center in Wellington. Ech Rabbi Avram Bar Yosef, Mishpachat Lupins. That's Avi, for those who don't know. Ata lekadmana came in front of us. V'amar lana Havdallah to the lovely lady Chana bat Yonatan, Mishpachat Smith, which is her original name. Maiden name, I should say. Kadhave betulta and sabali le'intu, that you have never been married before. You should be married to me as my wife. Min kadamat dana, but originally you've been always married to me in the city, Kansas City, Missouri, Alto Cabrit, which in Aramaic means Kansas City, Missouri, USA, for those who do not understand the fine Aramaic. Hilchot B'nat Yisrael Mitzvah leGuvrayim B'chuva leKudshin uVichtubah v'chadu ilkas leishtar Kettubah zehava katuv laminayim b'yom adintzabili. So this Kettubah, this marriage contract, is relevant from the day you were originally married. And essentially it replaces retroactively your original Kettubah. So if you find your original Kettubah in Christchurch, you can keep it as a souvenir, but it's not your actual Kettubah. This is your actual Kettubah. So that's important to know, just as a halakhic fact. And the day that you married me, Avi says to Chana, which was B'shlishi b'Shabbat, happened to be on Tuesday, Echad ve'esrim, LaChodesh Elul, the 21st of Elul, Shnat 5,750, 5,750. I would think for round numbers, I guess. 5,780, 5,750. Very good. Livriat Olam, in Kansas City, Missouri, out of the Brit. V'amur Rabbanan, and the rabbi said, Ta'asur levar Yisrael ashuye im intate lo Kettubah. A man should not be with his wife without a Kettubah. Afilu shat achada, even for one moment, this moment stretched out to several years, but for obvious circumstances, and now you are doing something about it, which is the most important thing. And therefore I had to, because our Kettubah, you cannot find it, I have to write you another Kettubah. With all the bells and whistles and all the money I originally promised you, plus inflation, plus the currency exchange, plus factoring in COVID-19. בתוספת תדע בכך אנו סעדי דחתימו לדחות קניין המיני השתא כסעדי קמאי דחתימו דחות כתובתא קמאיתא דאילקא דאו כיסא דתניהו וזמן כתובה קמאיתא לא ידענה. So I don't know where, when I lost the first one, but this replaces that one retroactively. This Kettubah is the replacement for the original Kettubah, Kamaita, the original one, Miyoma Denan, from the day that we were originally married, as mentioned. Uvelishna de Amavlana, in the same language. Kettubah Kamaita Dalkisa. And what did I write in the original Kettubah? Let us remind you, Mr. Avi Bar Yosef, Mishpachat Lupins. Remind you. Ech Rabbi Avraham Bar Yosef, Mishpachat Lupins. Amar la lehada itati, Marat Chanan Bat Yonatan Mishpachat Smith. Kad havi et betuta min kadama. Remember, you weren't married before, then you shall marry me. This was 30 years ago. Havi li leintu. Please be my wife. Kedat Moshe Israel. Just like in good Jewish religious homes, Moshe Israel. The Ana Aflach, and this is the most important thing. What is it? You see, in Judaism, a husband has all these obligations to his wife, and the wife simply has to accept that her husband has all these obligations to her, and then, like any good Jewish wife, make sure that he's happy in return. So the wife doesn't have to sign anything to make sure she does that, because she just knows how to do that. The husband, on the other hand, has to say, this is exactly how I'm going to treat you, my dearest wife. Which is, I have to find my place now. Ana aflach ve'okir. I will make you honored. I will honor you always. Ve'izon va'afarnes. And I will provide you with everything you need. Absolutely everything. You know, vacations and credit cards and jewelry and time together and whatever else I need. And, you know, buying 720, you know, toffees for the simcha, whatever I need. Yeah. Because it was 30 years ago. Because all the Jewish men, they do this with good faith and truth. And they all make sure their wives are honored, respected, and well taken care of. And the money, they essentially pledged her that hopefully you will never give her. Make sure you have enough clothing, enough jewelry, enough makeup, and all the other things that you desire. In my case, a dog, for example. They done a lot. They be Smith, bein bekesef, bein bezahav, bein betachshitin, b'mani delevusha, b'shimushi dira, b'shimushi de'al. So make sure you have a home and jewelry and money and everything that you need. And obviously, you still have to provide her with this. 30 years, you've been doing it. You have to keep doing it for a long time. Amen. Akol kibel elav, and of course, all of this, Avi reaccepts. Right now. even if he didn't understand the original one, he accepted retroactively 30 years ago. With 100 silver coins that he pledged her. עוד 100 זקוקים כסף צרוף אחרים כנגדם, סך הכל 200 זקוקים כסף צרוף that you put in a safe away and you'll never use it. וכך אמר רבי אברהם בר יוסף דנן, אחריות שטר כתובתא, this responsibility of this marriage contract, דן ידון ידע ותוספת ידע, קבילת עליי ועל ירתי בצרי, להתפרע מכל שבר הרג ניסין וקניינין, דאית לי. This is a valid marriage contract, and whatever, God forbid, need to use it, then you're going to have to, you can cash this in for all properties and in any way, and hopefully that day will never come. אנא למיקנה ניצים, דאית להון אחריות, ולית להון אחריות, כולון יהיון אחראי, וארבעים לפרוע מנהון שתרתותה, דדוני דן, ותוספת דה, מיני, ואפילו מגלימה דעל כתפיי, even if it is the literally shirt upon my back. וחיו ובתר חיים מן יום עד דנן, ולאדם, ואחריות שתרתותה, דדוני דן, ותוספת דה, קיבל עליו. כן, accept all these terms. רבי אברהם, בר יוסף דנן, כחומר כל שטרי כתובות ותוספות ונהגים בבנת ישראל העשויים כתיקון חכמינו זיכרונם לברכה. And this Kettubah is in line with all the marriage contracts that the rabbis approved of and enforced in all marriages. Thank God. זה לא כאסמך, זה לא כתופסי תשתרי בקניינה מרבי אברהם בר יוסף במשפחת אופן תנא דמרת חנה ותירסה למשפחת סמך דא דהבי בתולתא כאן in Savit you shall be married to me, Kadmita, always be married to me, and with this contract, Al Kol Ma Techatu, Umeforash La'el B'mana, Techasher L'Makna Yevei, HaKol Sharir V'Kayam. So, you're going to accept this as a kinyan, and you're going to lift this pen up, and essentially accept this Kettubah as your own, and we are going to sign it with the two Edim. So I need you to come forward here and sign it. But you're not going to sign one copy because we're making sure we're going to have two spare copies here. It's basically just right in the way I call it up here, bro. Have it one. Okay, make sure to sign all of it. We're going to keep this one locked up.
Yeah, we're not doing this.
No. One more? It's like more
on the wall.
Okay, it is the moment of truth. So the Adim, Gary and Daniel, have to witness this. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to pass her not one, not two, but 3 copies. You have to accept all 3. They're all going to be your valid Kettubah. 1 for you to keep, and 2 to lock away for a long time. Hopefully never to use it, but at least they'll be in places that, in case God forbid you ever need to not find this one, you'll always have copies of the valid Kettubah, and you don't have to worry about it. Yes, thank God. And hopefully you'll keep this for a very long time. You can put it up as a beautiful piece, and there's two schools of thought about what to do with the Kettubah. One school of thought is tuck it away because we're never going to use it. Another school of thought is let everyone see it because we're really, really proud of our marriage. So you guys decide what to do with it. I think I know which one because of the design, but I won't assume anything. So, Ne'um, Levi ben Shmuel Moshe. 8. Ne'um, Daniel Chaim ben Shra Yaakov. 8. Yaakov Sharir V'Kayam. And now Avi is going to take this and another 2 and pass it to his wonderful wife, Chana, who's going to accept it. Yes. Baruch Hashem. Oh, wait, almost Mazal Tov. And then you have to do this for 2 more times. Mazal Tov for each one. Mazal Tov for each one.
This will be your copies.
And we wish you Mazal Tov and many, many, many happy years together. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Lechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Israel. David Melech Israel, Chai v'kayam. David Melech Israel, Chai v'kayam. Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov, Siman Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Siman Tov. Yehelanu, 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 Lechol Israel. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Lechol Israel. David Melech Israel, Chai v'kayam. David Melech Israel, Chai v'kayam. Well, send one to office.
Yeah, that's for here and one's for on.
Yeah.
I'm showing you photos like all over.
Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. It was beautiful. If you want to give a speech, now's a really good time. If not, go to the Myers Hall and enjoy even more food. Unbelievable, Drew. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. Anything, making sure this happen. Yeah, I think